If email marketing is generating less than 40% of your store's revenue, it's because something is broken in your flows, your pop-up, or your weekly campaign. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix all of those problems by using the exact email system that we've used to generate $50 million for 100 plus brands that we've worked with. After watching this, you're never going to have to watch another video on email marketing strategy again, because I'm going to talk through every single thing that you need to hit 40% of your revenue from Klaviyo, including the stuff that no one else on YouTube is talking about. Okay, so how do you get 40% of revenue from Klaviyo? First things first, you must fulfill this one condition in that you have to have replenishable products. Or you need to have other things that you can sell your customers once they buy one item from you. To explain this, here's an example just showing how a normal funnel works in e-commerce. Someone enters the market, let's say this is someone with bad skin or with a bad fashion sense and you sell skincare or fashion or whatever. The normal way that you get in front of them is you show them a Facebook ad or a Google ad. They land on your site, and then they hopefully work their way down the funnel, and then they buy, and then they repeat buy, naturally, ideally, right? That's not what happens in practice. In general, they land on your site, they drop off so that you pay Facebook again to get them to come back, and then they go to cart, and then they might drop off again, in which case you pay Facebook again to get them to come back, all the way through the funnel, and even when they purchase, to get them to come back, you have to pay Meta again to serve them retargeting ads to get them to come back from you for a second time. Now, where does the 40% of revenue from Klaviyo come from? Where does Klaviyo revenue come from? How does that fit into this picture? This is how. Someone enters the market this time, let's say they've got a pain, you still show them a Facebook ad to hit them, right? You still land on their Instagram, you show them pictures of nice clothes or skincare that's gonna fix their skin, they land onto your site. Hopefully at this point, you get their email. You show them a good pop-up, capture their email, and now anytime they drop off, you send them an email which brings them right back, takes them to the next step. Even when they buy, instead of paying Facebook again for the retargeting cost, now you just send them an email to bring them back. So where does the money come from? The money from email comes from the pre-purchase nurturing to get people from 0 purchases to their first purchase, and it comes from selling the repeat purchase, getting someone to buy 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So the net result is that the revenue you generate from Klaviyo is, part of it is new customer revenue, part of it is repeat customer revenue. And if you don't have this portion, if you don't have other things that you can sell people, for example, let's say you sell saunas. No one's gonna buy 2 saunas, right? So if you don't have anything to sell to someone after they bought a sauna, striving for 40% isn't really worthwhile because there's nowhere for you to get that money from. And don't get me wrong, it's still a very worthwhile endeavor to nail your Klaviyo strategy so that you get that new customer revenue. Because as you're probably aware, people need to see your brand 10 times or even more times before they're ready to buy from you. So if all of those touches are coming from Facebook, you're paying Facebook for every single impression that someone has of your brand before they're ready to purchase. Whereas if we can get people's email, instead, the first 2 touches can come from Facebook and we pay for them. But the rest, emails, SMSs, abandoned cart flows, push notifications, WhatsApp, if we set it up, we can get all of the additional touches from these, which is basically free. There's no marginal cost to sending these things. You have a fixed fee for Klaviyo every month. So what that means is more of your ad spend can go out to reach new customers, and we can hit 5 times as many customers in this example than we would in the first example where we were using all of our impressions just to nail 1 customer. And the net result of that, your customer acquisition cost goes down. Now that's applicable to all e-commerce businesses. But to hit 40% of revenue from Klaviyo, we must have more things to sell people after the first order. And if we do, we can set up our email strategy so that we increase lifetime value as well. And this is really important because a measure of a brand's profitability is the customer lifetime value divided by the customer acquisition cost. And if this goes up, we make more money. And if this goes down, we make more money. Now, that being said, how do we actually do this? It starts with the pop-up, because you can't do email marketing if you don't have people's emails. And the way to get people's emails is with a super dialed in pop-up. Now, here's a few examples of pop-ups that some brands are running. You may have heard of some of these. Usually it's a discount. That's what people generally have in mind. What makes a pop-up effective though is the conversion rate. So the benchmarks that we normally look at, minimum we want the conversion rate to be is 4%. Generally, if it's 6 to 9%, that's a good conversion rate on a pop-up, and 10% plus is really good. That's great. If it's converting above 10%, we don't really want to mess with it, and that's what we're going to strive for. So what actually affects pop-up conversion rates? It's 2 things. Number one is the offer, which is what you give away. And number two is the mobile optimization. And mobile optimization is really important because most people that shop in e-commerce shop on their phones. They see your ads on their phone, they visit your website on their phone. So your pop-up has to be mobile optimized. It has to be readable on people's phones and easy for people to actually fill in their details. The offer is just what you're giving away. So the general offer that people use is a discount. This is the base level. It can be something as simple as 10% off, 15% off. You can add a quiz to the pop-up. You can also add a mystery element. For example, step one here has done a try your luck scratch to win pop-up, and you scratch this over here and it reveals a 20% off. What Groons does is they offer a humongous discount on the front end of 52% off, but they use this to sell people onto a subscription. So they're not giving away all of their profit. They rely on the customer coming back and sticking to the subscription to make profit. Obviously, we're going to have a high conversion rate if we give 100% off people's first order. So we do need to balance what we're giving away with the conversion rate. And so a really good way of doing that without actually offering a big percentage off discount is by giving a gift with purchase, which looks like this. So a good example of this, let's say you're a business that sells suits. A good gift with purchase is you give people a free tie with their first order, provided that their order's over $100. Now, this is a really good offer because the perceived value of this tie is much higher than the standard 10% discount that you might be offering to other customers normally. Now, you might price a tie at $50, but it only costs you $10. So everyone wins in this situation because the customer gets a $50 tie, $50 worth of value, and it's only really cost you $10 because you're not paying $50, you're paying $10 for the cogs of the tie. Even less if it's a super high margin product. Now, this is a really good offer because you can always rotate what the gift is. And for the people that actually redeem the offer, you can use this as an opportunity to follow up on them to ask, how do they like the tie? Now, for a gift with purchase, because it helps you win back margin on every order, you don't even need to have an increase in conversion rate for this to be worthwhile. If this converts just as well as your 10% discount pop-up, then the free gift with purchase offer wins because you're saving $40. Now, the next offer is an even more margin conscious one, and it's something that's been trending across our clients, so you should really pay attention. It is go into a draw to win a free refund on your first order. Now, how this offer works is that a customer signs up to your pop-up to go into a draw, a random giveaway, where if they make a purchase, they have a small chance that their order is going to get refunded. All they have to do is put their email in and make a purchase, and they go into the draw and they have a chance for a refund. Now, this works exceptionally well for you because all you need to do is refund one order a month. You can extract the list of everyone that used the discount code, put it into a random number generator, and then refund one of those people. And in terms of the margin effect, this is what it looks like compared to a 10% off discount. Let's say you have about 200 new customers a month and your average order value on those customers is $100. That's about $20,000 worth of new customers that have signed up through this pop-up. And if you gave a standard 10% off discount, that would cost you $2,000. So it's only $18,000 of revenue going into the business. But with this go into draw to win a free refund offer, well, you only refund one person out of the 200 orders, which means the net discount is really 0.5%. And the margin back into your pocket is $1,900. This is a hugely margin conscious offer. And now you might be wondering, why would people sign up for this? It's because people love to gamble. The only downside of this offer is that it might not be brand aligned for every single company, but if this is something that would work for your audience, definitely give it a crack because it basically wins back an entire 10% of margin, provided you have over 100 orders a month. Quick pause before we continue. I've actually audited over 300 Klaviyo accounts over the past few years. So if you want me to take a look into your account and tell you exactly where you're leaving money on the table, you can use the link in the description to book in a free audit with me, and I'll tell you exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix it. Back to the video. Another thing you can do with this offer is you can make an entire event out of someone winning this. You can send emails saying, hey, this is the person that won for the month. You can make social media posts like, hey, this is the person that signed up. The next draw is happening within a week. Place your order today to go into next month's draw, and you can turn it into a whole urgency element to get people to buy now. So excellent offer. So those are the three main offers that you need to test for your pop-up. Immediately after someone signs up to your pop-up, they go into your flows. So what are flows? Flows are email automations that trigger based on a customer's action. So every action someone takes on your website is tracked, and that goes into Klaviyo, and we can trigger automations based on that. The moment someone signs up, we know that they've signed up, and we can trigger a welcome series flow. If they land on the website and they don't click on items, we know that they've been active on site and we can trigger a flow based on that. If they click on specific products, we can trigger a flow based on what product they clicked. Adding the cart, going to checkout, same thing. We know exactly what people have done and we can trigger messaging based on that to get them to the next stage. If they're clicking on products, we can give them messaging to get them to add to cart. That's all pre-purchase flows. After people purchase as well, we can trigger a sequence of flows as well. We can send emails telling people, hey, like this is what you should expect from your order. You've made a really good decision. Here's how to use your product. Here's how to wash it. Here's how to style it, etc. You can give them information to help them have a better experience with the product. You can also trigger flows to get them to come back, to buy more products, or to get them to leave reviews. Or if you think they've churned, to send them an offer to get them to come back and buy from you before they disappear forever. Now, there are so many flows that you can build and it can get super complicated, but across the 100+ brands that we've worked with, it's only 6 flows that drive most of the revenue. And that is these flows that you see on screen. The welcome flow, the active on site, the browse abandonment flow, the added to cart flow, the checkout abandonment flow, and the post-purchase flow. These are the ones that drive pretty much all of the revenue from Klaviyo. So if you're missing any of these, there's a lot of money being left on the table. Now, once you have the key flows, the key to success with them is actually mapping out the customer journey and sending the right messaging based on what your customer is thinking at the time. So for example, let's say the welcome flow. So here's an example of a welcome flow that we built for one of our clients. This is a brand that sells colorful backpacks. Think about their customer journey. They've probably seen ads. They've seen backpacks which look really colorful. Their kid is probably about to go back to school and they want a backpack that's looks cool at the end of the day. The reason they've signed up for this welcome series email is just because they've received a pop-up that said, hey, do you want to get a discount on your first order? And they thought, you know what? I'm going to buy this backpack anyway. I want to sign up for 10% off. So the only purpose of this welcome email in the first email is just to get them right back to your site to purchase. So what do? In the top of the email, we have the discount immediately visible. And we have a big button over here for them to just click so they can go right back to the website and buy. Now, if that doesn't do it, maybe we need to tell them a bit more about the business. So we go into a personal email from the founder explaining why they started the company, who they are, the story, etc. And then we start making comparisons on why our backpacks are better than the other ones and showing proof that our backpacks are actually really good. Now, let's say, for example, someone clicks on a product, but they don't add it to cart. That's a different kind of frame that the customer is in compared to a welcome series where they've just signed up. So what's the thought process? If it's only one item that they were looking at, we'll send them this email. It's like, hey, are you still thinking about this? Remember, you left this behind. Here's some reasons why it might be interesting to you. And here's some other options that you might like if that's not the right fit for you. Now, if someone's clicked at multiple products and they've left, they might not have gotten distracted. Maybe they just didn't see value in what they were buying or they don't trust us yet. So we send them this email, which has a little bit more value. We're selling a bit harder. We've got a bit of copy to sell the value of it, to say, hey, these are items which are going fast, like hurry up. But we also make other recommendations based on what they were looking at. And then we show the items that they were looking at so they can easily click and go back and buy them. Then if they don't convert from that, we actually just go into giving some proof that our products are high quality. That's usually one of the biggest bottlenecks that stops people from buying, is that they just don't trust you. So a lot of this flow is just like, hey, here's our main category. Here's some reviews of people enjoying it. Here's another category, reviews of someone enjoying it. Another category, reviews of someone enjoying it. And then here's some reasons why people keep coming back from us after they bought. And then we finish off with just solving some questions that people usually have, which stop them from buying. And then also just reminding them of the product in every email, as well as solving some more objections, which stops them from buying. Now, if this is someone that's added a product to cart and then left, this is much higher intent than any of these other flows. So the objection or what's stopping them from buying is probably they don't trust you, or it could be a logistical issue as well, like shipping or payment method isn't available, etc. One of the big reasons in e-commerce why people abandon cart is because of pricing, and how we overcome the pricing objection is by value selling, and we value sell with social proof. So in this email, we say, hey, this is the item that you were looking at, but here's some proof that our products are actually good. This is why families love shopping with us. And then for the second message, we actually send an SMS very shortly after, because an SMS message can have a 10% conversion rate or higher in an abandoned cart flow. And it's really simple for someone to just pick up their phone after getting a text, just tap the link in the SMS, and then go to checkout and double tap with Afterpay. Makes it very seamless. In the next email, we talk a bit more about payment options. This is a plain text message, and we say we solve all of the objections that are related to the checkout page. So it's usually payment if their favorite payment method isn't available. We offer Afterpay or ZipPay or Klarna, for example, and we let them know what our free shipping threshold is. Another reason is people land at the checkout page, they see the shipping cost, and they go, oh, I don't really want to pay for it. So if we have a free shipping threshold, we let them know, and we let them know when they can expect to receive the order, because that's usually a big objection with shopping online as well. They don't think it will arrive on time, and they want it ASAP. And then once we solve those main objections, we go into explaining why our products are better than everyone else, and more founder messages just to get them across the line. Now, you want to put that level of thought into every single one of these flows, because the more thought and information and value you give in these pre-purchase flows, the more prospects that you're going to convert into customers, and the lower your customer acquisition cost is going to be. But the importance of these flows pales in comparison to the post-purchase flow, which in my opinion is the most important flow in any Klaviyo account. And that is because immediately after someone buys from you online, there's a small voice in the back of their head that's thinking, oh my God, am I actually going to get this item? Is this real? Did I just get scammed? Now, most people are reasonable, but for some people, if you let that voice get out of control, they're gonna do chargebacks, they're gonna leave bad reviews 10 minutes after they place an order. So for those people, you need to immediately validate their decision, and you can do that with a post-purchase flow. You immediately send them an email saying, hey, thank you for your purchase. Your journey starts here. Your order is going to ship within this time frame. You're going to expect to receive these updates in this time frame. The product's going to be in your hand in this time frame. Here's all the benefits that you signed up for, and this is what you're going to get as a result. And again, welcome aboard. Now, this is really, really important because the general order confirmation email on Shopify is not that inspiring. So building something custom that really understands where your customer is and the pain they're experiencing when they buy is super, super, super high ROI. Now, what we do for our clients is we send multiple emails with value before the customer even gets their product. So the next email we send is, hey, how do you get the most out of your product when it arrives? And we actually give them a protocol on how to use the product properly, how they can have an amazing experience with the product so that when they receive it, they can get stuck in immediately and get value from it. And if you go into this level of depth with your customers and you also send social proof to show that it works, by the time they get their order, your first impression has been amazing. They're like, wow, these guys really care about us. They want us to have a great experience. Another thing it does, if you go through all the work of sending value after someone's bought, well then that subconsciously tells customers that you're not trying to scam them or rip them off, which eases that buyer's remorse as well. It's only after customers get their order that we tend to do the cross-sells and the upsells. And if the cross-sells and upsells don't work, then we at least go for the reviews. But these are also things that we can do in other flows. We generally reserve the post-purchase flow for giving value to customers because this is how you nail the customer experience. Once the post-purchase flow is built and nailed, you can think about your replenishment flow, which is the flow to get people to come back for a second or third purchase, or a win-back flow, which gets them back with a discount. This is another flow which is pretty important. It's called a sunset flow. Basically what it does is suppresses profiles of people that haven't engaged with you for 6 months or so, because if someone hasn't opened an email from you in 6 months, chances are they're never gonna open emails from you. So we may as well get rid of them. And so we suppress them so we don't delete their profile, but it stops us from being charged for having that profile on file and basically bans them from getting emails from us. So that's flows. The next part of your email strategy is campaigns. And there's 3 things that really matter when it comes to campaigns. It's what you send, which is the actual content, who you send it to, the segmenting, and how frequently you send. So in terms of what to send, there's really 4 main content buckets. It's social proof, educational messages, product pushes, and sales. Sales, a bit more rare, but these are the 3 that you should spend most of your time on. Now, social proof is really, really, really important because if you think about email and where it sits in the funnel of your e-commerce brand, it is a middle to bottom of funnel channel. Like when people sign up to your email list, they've probably seen your ads before. They kind of know what you sell, right? They've clicked on your ad because you've spoken to them, you've presented something that is a solution to their problem or helps them get their dream outcome. So for them to land on your site and sign up to your email list, that means it's a middle of funnel to bottom of funnel channel. The reason they haven't bought from you at this point is because they know what you do, they just don't believe that you can actually deliver on what you're saying. That's really it at the end of the day, most of the time. So after discounts, social proof is up there. And so there's a bunch of different ways that you can do social proof, and it's something that every single brand can do today. All you need to do, it's as simple as just going onto your website, finding reviews from the site, and putting it in an email and saying, hey, here's other people enjoying our product. Why can't you? There's no reason why you can't. This is a brand that sells skincare products to mums. So we found reviews of mums with names of different ethnicities because we want this to be an inclusive brand for all sorts of mums. And we've sent it out, and it's a very high performing campaign. We can also do this at the product level. We can find some of the best selling products. Like for example, this is a product that does really well, and we just share reviews of this product. We find this item, here's a review for this item. Review for this item, here's why it's so good. Another item, here's why it's so good. It's very, very, very easy for any brand to do because again, you just go into your reviews, pick some that look good, and then put it into an email and send it out. Now, you don't have to copy paste it. You can actually just use the information in the reviews and write a plain text message like this brand has done over here. This one said like, hey, one guy told me he's finally present when his kids again, there's no more rushing through the evening in a haze. Another person said this, another person said this. You can get creative with how you present the social proof. But again, it's really important to understand trust is the main bottleneck to why people haven't bought from you. And so social proof works really well. Another way you can do it is with influencers or celebrity endorsements. Now, obviously, if you have this, a lot of brands have this, but they don't push it out. They're trying to be nonchalant about it. Your email list is where you should really push this sort of stuff. So if it's influencers wearing your product, works really well. For this brand, they have an athlete that's spoken really highly of the product. Make sure they push it. If you don't have influencers or celebrities, you can actually just use your own audience. Like people generally tag your brand on their Instagram. Literally just put that in an email and push it out to your email list. Let people know. Share it on Instagram, obviously, but also push it to the people that aren't on Instagram. If you sell clothing and people are wearing your clothing and have pics with them, push that. Very high performing. It's very real and authentic to see real people using the products. And the Instagram push works extremely well because people can just look up the profile and see that they're real people. Now the next category is educational messages. And this is just giving a little bit more specific information on your product and how it can help them. So for example, easy way of doing it is just with a myth busting type of campaign. This is a normal belief that people have, and here's a bit of information that's going to help you understand how our product solves the problem a bit better, ideally, and then you link to the products. It can be information specifically on the product, like what are the things that make our products different and better. It could be a ritual. For example, here's a ritual for you on like how to actually use the product, just so you can see how simple it is. It's not very hard at all. It could be genuinely just educational info based on what's happening in the market. So if there's a 20-year study revealing something that we found, we show why natural cleaning options are better than using chemicals in your home. This is another example of that. Like this is one that sells skincare to pregnant women. There's some information out there showing that some of the chemicals that you put on your skin can affect the baby's development. So obviously you want to use organic products on your skin while you're pregnant. And this is information which again is useful information, but also pushes people towards our products as well. Now the third category of email is actually just pushing products specifically. And again, email is a middle of funnel to bottom of funnel channel, and people on your list are interested. So do not shy away from actually pushing specific products to buy. For example, here we just say, hey, this item, it was in high demand, it's back. You're gonna love it. If you have back in stocks of items, definitely push that out. If you're pushing products outside of back in stocks, what normally helps is if you can make it a curated selection that actually solves the problem. So for example, instead of just pushing, hey, like here's a product that does this, it's like, this is our top 5 picks for a sparkling clean kitchen. And here's all the products that's gonna help you have a clean kitchen. It's focusing on the benefits versus the specifics of the product. That generally works better. Another example here, it's like take command of every drive. Take a look at these items which help you do this and this. It's framed as a benefit to help you take control of the drive rather than this is a throttle controller, this is what it does, yada, yada, yada. Another example of a curated selection, here's products that our community loves. Quick and easy products, pantry essential products, satisfying snacks. We show different pain points and we give a curated selection of products which help with those pain points. That's the best way to push a product for conversion and audience engagement overall. Now, the last kind of campaign type is sale campaigns, and there's a few different types of sales. There's obviously big event sales like Black Friday, your mid-year sales, etc., that run over a couple of weeks. You can also run sales as just a spot event. It doesn't always have to be a discount. So for obviously Black Friday, you can run a big discount. Just as a brand, 25% off that they ran site-wide. It's a simple deal that you can run. The problem with running sales or percentage off deals is that it cuts into your margin. And again, we look at your profit margin as an e-commerce brand, let's say 30 to 40% profit. If we're giving 20% off, it's a lot of the profit that we're taking away. So we have to outperform heavily revenue-wise to make more profit than we normally do on a standard month. So an easy way just for, let's say specifically Black Friday that we use is by using a tiered discount. Instead of giving a site-wide 25% off, we make it up to 50% off. And so we discount our best-selling products less than we discount our slow-moving stock. If we have stock that's been sitting around for months, we discount that at 50%, but our best sellers, that gets a much smaller discount than everything else. And framing it as a tiered discount, it actually increases our click rate too, because you have to click through to see what the deal is. Another sort of thing for running sales is you don't always have to give a discount. You can do something like you go into a draw to win this particular item. And so if you make a purchase within this day or this period, you go into the draw to win an iPad Air, or you win this gift box, for example. And that's a really good incentive to get people to purchase without blowing up your margin. Like, as we've established before on the pop-up, the refund is a really good way just to incentivize people to buy without hurting your margin. Another thing we do for other brands is things like free ship Fridays or some sort of other discount. And the reason we want to do these sorts of things is because we don't normally want to train our customers to wait for a discount before they buy from us. We could train them to wait for a deal, but a discount is really bad. We generally want people to pay full price for our products. If our average order value is $100, we want them to get used to spending $100 when they buy from us, because otherwise the lifetime value of the customers we acquire during sale periods is generally significantly lower than the lifetime value of customers that we acquire normally. In general though, you don't have to run sales too frequently. I also actually don't recommend it. I think items are getting more and more commodified, and building brand and building a community of people that want to buy from you at full price is the real moat when brands like Amazon and Temu just capture more and more of the e-commerce market. I don't normally recommend it, but this is how you would do it if you were really dying to run a sale. Okay, so that's your content. Now let's talk about who do you send these campaigns to. And this is where segmenting comes in. And the reason segmenting is important is because if we didn't care about anything except conversions and money we make from our email campaigns, we would send every email to every single person on our list all the time. The reason we can't do that is because, one, people will get annoyed, and two, it's going to hurt our email reputation. Now here's an example of a campaign that we sent to the full list of a brand. This made $184,000. Now you would look at this and think, damn, that's a lot of money, let's just keep doing it. But if we did keep doing that, the deliverability would shatter and we would lose the ability to do blasts like this in the future. So the happy medium that we find is we send most of our campaigns to people that are more likely to open, and we reserve the full email blast for just events which are like sales or new releases or drops, etc. Now the people most likely to open emails from us are people that have opened an email from us recently. And here's the proof to show that. I've made these segments here of people that have opened an email from us in the last 10 days, people that have opened an email between 11 to 30 days ago, 30 to 60 days ago, 60 to 90 days ago, and I've split it by customers and prospects, which is people that haven't bought from us. And what we can see, people that opened emails from us recently have an 82% open rate, 82% open rate, and an extremely high placed order rate, over 0.5%. Whereas as we go further and further out, we're looking at the engaged 11 to 30 day audience, open rate drops drastically down to 22% and 14% respectively, and then it goes to 5% and 3% the further out we go. So for you as a business to figure out how frequently you should email your list, you should set out your segments like this and send it to an engaged 90-day audience, and then based on the open rate, determine who you should actually be sending it to. Now this is a campaign that made $50,000, but we can see most of the sales came from the 0 to 30 day engaged audience. There was some sales here that came from the customers going out to 60 days, actually 90 days. Might be worthwhile sending out to 90 days for this brand if people have bought before. But for prospects, people that haven't, it wasn't really that high of a revenue generator. So for this brand, we send most of our campaigns to the engaged 60-day engaged customers and engaged 30-day prospects. That's 3 to 4 emails per week. And we only hit the other segments maybe once every 2 weeks. Now, if you have a product which has a longer consideration phase, you may consider expanding this out from engaged 90 to 120 or 180, for example. But for most e-commerce products which are under $300, an engaged 90-day segment works pretty well. If you follow this segmenting strategy, you will protect your deliverability because you will send to people who want to receive your emails and you'll stop sending to people who don't want to receive your emails. And that will tell Gmail and Yahoo that you're a reputable sender, you don't send emails to people that don't want to hear from you, and your deliverability will be safe so that during big sale events that you run, you can send out campaigns to your entire list and make hundreds of thousands of dollars from one campaign. So that's everything that you need to know to hit 35 to 40% of your revenue from Klaviyo. Now, if you want someone to handle everything I've just walked through, my team has actually run this for 100 plus e-commerce brands. And like I said, generated over $50 million worth of sales for these companies. You can use the link in the description to book in a call directly with me to see if we can help you. Or if you want to understand what the top brands in the world do differently in their email marketing, you can watch my full breakdown by clicking this link. See you there.